everyone, Tom here, Battle Rap Resume, here back with yet another episode of the show. Please follow us at Battle Rap Resume, get in touch with us on the email, all the information is down below, the Patreon, the iTunes, the things you've heard a million times before. Today, we have done a little sort of top 10 countdown thematic thing for a little while on the show, and this is a topic that I wanted to talk about with a guest for a while. Acre, how's it going, man?
It's going good, man. How are you yourself?
I'm very well, and I came to you initially as a fan. I think we've sort of spoken at a few events, and it was only really after seeing the Jay Short battle it made me so happy. I'm not overstating. This is one of the battles of 2018, I think.
Yeah, no, I mean, to be honest, I didn't expect that going in. I mean, the night before was just absolutely horrible trying to get down for the battle. Most of the time was spent conferring between Maverick and everybody else that was like Kofi and Conman, who were like organising the battle, saying that I might not even be able to make it down because that was the weekend that the big storm happened.
Oh yeah.
So trains were shut down, buses were shut down, so I didn't have any sleep at all for like the 2 days leading up to that. Eventually, a friend of mine said that he'd managed to be able to get his car and take me all the way down to Maverick's house at like 3-4 in the morning. So that night at Mavericks, I only had like about 4 or 5 hours sleep, and then back up at like 9 o'clock in the morning. Got some food from McDonald's, and then headed over to the battle. So I was like running on fumes for that, but I'm glad I make it down, and I'm really glad that Jay Short actually showed out. A lot of people said that if it's going to be close, it's because Jay Short's probably just going to sleep on you and just like write nothing for you and just like freestyle most of it. But I was like, I know Jay Short from what Kofi's told me, that he's not that type of person. If he's willing to take a battle with a guy that's sort of up and coming, he's actually going to write for it. He's not going to like what's the word? Is it like sully his brand just because he's not caring or not bothering with a battler because he's not a big name or anything like that? I don't think Jay Short's the type of guy to do that. So I think he did go in with the intention to kill me, and I think on the day I even said, look, I even gave it to him 3-0 as well, but that's just because I was reacting to a lot of his shit and I was trying my best not to. I was like, no, I'm trying to make him seem like he's not as good as he is, but he was fucking killing me for 3-0 rounds.
People need to check the battle out. It's got like 2,500 views, which is ridiculous. Go support Dub Scandal, go subscribe, go watch the battle. But yeah, today we are talking about top 10 nastiest battlers, and what do we mean by that really? I just wanted to talk about battlers who crossed the line in some way, who got a backlash for it, and these are just 10 things that we can talk about, leaping off points. Please comment below. I'm sure we're going to miss out some of your favourite bastards, so let us know about that. But Acre, I have to ask broadly, is there a line in battle rap to you?
Not really, no. I mean, if somebody gets physical, then you've got a bit of a problem there. Like, it should be keeping it rap. But when it comes to topics that you can discuss, I think it's open season. If somebody's got something to say and you put yourself in a position for them to say it to you, then you have to live with it. If you come into a battle rap expecting everything to be nicey, you're not in the right place. Battle rap is I was going to say serious business. It's really not serious business, but it can for people that take it seriously, they need to consider that if you're going into a battle rap and somebody says something that rubs you up the wrong way, maybe battle rap is not for you if you can't handle that in the moment. I can understand people getting a bit shocked by somebody saying something to them in the moment, but like after, if they brush it off and say, you know what, that was still a great battle. So people that go on tirades about it, you're like, please just stay away from battle rap. I like my controversy to be
it's part of it. Yeah, it's absolutely part of it. Always has been, always will be. And you yourself, you've got 11 battles. I haven't seen them all. Any moments where you feel your opponent crossed the line?
Not at all. I got kind of annoyed that a lot of people were like touching upon the line and just decided not to cross it because they're like, you know what, they might get some backlash. I got that from Bard as well. Like, Bard says I'm ready to say some racist shit, and he just didn't say anything racist. I'm like, you're touching on some subjects, but you didn't go far enough. I goes, if you're gonna say that you're gonna do something, you might as well go the full length. But I kind of agree on some points with him. Like, after the battle, we kind of had a little chat about it. That there's no reason to sort of dilute what. Like, if, for example, it's not a case of is it okay to say, it's whether or not it's worth saying, and if it could have easily been replaced with something that was less harsh but like more effective. So I was like, I'm okay with that. I suppose he had better things to say than just like make Asian jokes or like terrorist jokes or anything like that. So I was kind of happy that he brought the battle he did. But yeah, nobody's ever crossed the line for me against me at all. I just think people, if they're going to do it, they might as well go all the way. Make a good quality terrorist joke against me. I'd enjoy that, to be honest.
So the format for the episode, me and Acre agreed beforehand with help from people on Reddit and the Twitter as well. Sent out a little call there of the most sort of controversial examples or some famous examples, and we have used these these as the focal points of talking about the people in general. So we'll get stuck in the first battle, which is a battle. I think this is actually the only battle on the card that I was there for. I remember going to 5th birthday with my good friend Danny, who's been on the show before, getting the train from Manchester to this packed Leeds venue. It was crazy in there. I'm trying to remember what the first battle was. I think it was like Bowsy versus Mr. 13 or something like that. I can't quite recall. But yeah, this battle went down. And I do remember in the building being quite unnerved in a certain way, being quite shocked as an audience member at the insistence of Eke and Enigma on their sort of anti-Semitic Jewish jokes.
Mr. Prop, I will fist a dog in your synagogue, then make it take a shit on God.
I signed up to Hitler's blog.
And see, it's easier it's easier to defeat these queers. We can feel your seething fears. We can see it clear. You know, it's ironic. It's ironic you two are behind on your BG gas bill when your family were getting it for free for years.
Yeah, when I was watching it, I got a lot of feeling that most, in the first round at least, that a lot of the jokes were not really too harsh, so to speak.
Sure.
I say most of them. There was one that stood out as being, okay, that might rub some, certainly
Was
get
that to
some
slow it
backlash.
down, or?
No, it was how many Jews does it take to open a door? I don't know, but at least it's more than 6 million.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, now that's a bit much, but you know, I can understand that people would get really pretty fucking offended by that one. There was a few other ones that would just kind of just look like they were thrown in there, like so the slow it down was your entire family was gassed by Adolf Hitler.
Yes.
And the only thing that went through my head, I goes, well, his entire family wasn't. He's standing right there. But, okay. But I know he said gassed. He doesn't necessarily say things killed them. But again, it's just one of those ones you're kind of like, oh, it's shock value for shock value's sake. But some of them that were aimed at most prob wasn't as bad as it kind of felt that they should be. I'm talking about like how controversial they could have been.
Yeah, there's just so many of them though, isn't there? Such an onslaught.
There was a lot in the first round. There was like that one was the train to Auschwitz.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Oh shit! Yeah. Oh, it's time to holler caustic, and I was like,
yeah.
These are kind of funny.
I like that. That's probably my favourite bit. Yeah.
Yeah, but there was the bar that really stood out was the one about the more than 6 million, because that just seemed like that was just a controversial bar for just
that's
like
just a joke someone would tell at a pub, like.
Yeah, no, that's just like that's a bit much for this crowd, or just like you don't tell that joke, and you know, certain friends or certain family members might tell those kind of jokes, and you're just kind of like embarrassed by the fact that they tell those. But that's what one of those jokes kind of sounds like. But everything else was just kind of like they were like sort of like that fake sort of mean, angry nastiness that they were trying to bring, which actually was, I wouldn't say too effective, but that one line was the one that stood out as being right. They must have really like trolled the internet for something as harsh as that, or maybe went on Wikipedia and just looked up the grossest ones that they could find and just used that one for it. But they had some really kind of like should we say cradling the line kind of bars in that, and I actually enjoyed a lot of it, because I was like, you know what, it doesn't seem as though it's harsh. Like looking at Moss Prob's face during it all, he was kind of like, you know, rolling his eyes like it's just shit he's heard before, but it didn't look like it was harming him. It didn't look like it was offending him. So I think he took it in good nature. So I think everybody else should have, really, if I'm going to be honest. But I think there was a bar in the second round about the cricket where he's talking about reclaiming the ashes.
Right.
And I thought that was I think that was probably the most harshest bar in that round.
Yeah.
But again, it's just like one of those ones where it's just like, I'm not sure what makes that bar more harsh than, say, a bar like your entire family was gassed by Adolf Hitler. But it just feels like it's more harsh just because there's something a bit more like I think reality is sort of involved in that. The bar that's controversial so much as the whole your family was gassed by Adolf Hitler. His family wasn't. His family's probably all right. But that's what I mean. It's like, where do you cross the line between just being nasty and what is actual controversy? And I think his battle did a very good job of sort of kind of bridging that gap a little bit better, because you didn't just have the Jew jokes. You had the sort of really, the jokes against Rapunzel as well, which was just like, you know, rape jokes and whatnot.
Yeah. Delusions of adequacy.
That was a good bar. I fucking love that as well.
Yeah.
But again, it's just like the way they were bridging it, because they had a lot to work with, and the two people that they got to do it, Eke and Enigma, are like very well known for these kind of, like crossing.
Yeah, they're good together. They do the classic 2-on-2 tactic where they have internal conflict as well, and you know, debate about what to call, and talk about rapping in key as well. Shout out the In the House tour. But the third as well is pretty. They try and get everyone to do a Nazi salute in the building.
Yeah, that, you know what, that was that was one of those moments where I was just like, I didn't think anybody would do it, but I was like, I can
A few
understand
in
what
the
they're
back,
trying to get
maybe,
Yeah,
deep.
a couple in the back just to
Yeah.
do it as a joke, but I don't think they went in with the intention that, what would be great? We get the entire crowd to do Nazi salutes. I think it was just a case of we just talk about it
Yeah.
and try and get people to do it, and one or two might do it, but it'll be funny if you just get like just Eek on the stage, or was it? And I get mixed up between the 2 Was it Eek that did the salute eventually, or
I
was
believe
it?
it was, yeah.
I just the battle, but they had some great fucking bars that linked up with Rapunzel being a German fairy tale.
Yes,
and it was
yeah.
made by Walt Disney, who's like the most anti-Semitic guy. I thought that was one of the most creative ways to sort of like I think it would just attack both of them at the same time. I think it was like a great way to sort of pair that Rapunzel bars with the Jew jokes kind of bar. I thought that was very, very creative, and that is one of the type of bars that I would say is where they could have been much more harsh with that sort of angle, but they decided to be more creative, and I think it was much more effective than probably any of the other controversial bars that we're seeing in terms of really hammering it home this whole anti-Semitic angle that we're going for. So I think that was really, really it was the beans on toast or the Heinz bar as well. Again, just clever stuff. Just
You used to getting baked, yeah.
Yeah, and that one, it was what was it he said to Rapunzel? He goes, your pussy's shaved in the shape of a swastika. And again, that just made me laugh out loud because it was just so absurd. But
Right.
I can understand that people would get really kind of on edge about stuff like that. But that, again, is one of those jokes that's just so absurd. It's like, well, you can't even take it seriously as an offensive bar. But I get lost when it's like trying to pair these bars with the type of bars that you had earlier, which is like he said something about like sending his family to a concentration camp. He goes because they can't pay attention or something like that. And I was like, again, that's like a controversial bar, but how is it different from like saying something like you like beans because they're made by Heinz? It's just like I think it's just the absurd nature of it kind of dampens the blow more than just the fact that these are actual bars about a historical period of time which was like horrible for people that were living during that era. So I think they had a very good balance of it throughout the battle. So I would say that they definitely ticked the box for me in saying they were controversial just enough to sort of get away with everything they said for that entire round.
They offer a disclaimer at the end of the third, quite tellingly. They wrote this crap in a matter of minutes. They don't care. Fuck anyone who's actually racist, classist, homophobic. He says.
I think they were worried about that. Yeah, I think
they had to do that. I think they had to.
I think there was like, if we're going to say all this, we should kind of, have a nice ending to it by saying, by the way, this is just battle rap. Please don't hurt us in the comments. Please don't Twitter at me. Don't show up with goons.
Both of Enigma's Twitters, leave them alone.
Pretty much, it was just a case of look. By the way, it's just battle rap. I think that was like that's like the moment in battle rap where they, they're getting aggressive, and then somebody decides to get aggressive back, and they go, whoa, it's just rap.
Yeah.
I think that was that. They kind of got that feeling from probably the crowd, or they just got that understanding that people watching it back would definitely get quite offended or quite up in their emotions about it and type out a long paragraph or hunt them down and start giving them abuse in their Facebook Messenger chat or something like that. But I liked the disclaimer at the end. I actually thought it made the battle end a little bit better just because the fact that they were addressing, they know how harsh it was what they've written, and they still ended off by saying that you're a woman and you're a Jew. Just as a sort of like a post note for the battle, just to sort of throw that in. I think that the whole thing could have been done without that sort of disclaimer, but I think the throwing the disclaimer in kind of I think what's the word? It's like sort of lends to the fact that they were being deliberately as harsh as possible for all three rounds, rather than just writing what they thought. This will be a good bar. This will be a good. I think they probably sat down and thought, that bar's not harsh enough. Let's make it worse. As they went through and decided, at the end, don't worry, it's fine. We'll put a little disclaimer to get away with all the nastiness we're going to be saying over the course of 3 rounds. So I think it worked well for them, though. The disclaimer was quite a good idea to put in, especially if they were looking to, not get stabbed or lose their jobs or whatever they do.
Yeah, absolutely. This battle has some of the worst lines in Don't Flop history in the best possible way, and also a very poetic line. We're mostly been focused on Enigma and Eek from Mos in the third. We've got that crying at the airport swag.
I actually did. I like that. Again,
Yeah.
see these type of bars that just sort of come out of nowhere. Like he'll finish a 4-bar and he'll like get a little, like a grunt in the crowd, and then he'll just hit out with something like that. You've got that crying in the airport swag, and it just turns the battle on its head a little bit. He's now going into a bit of comedy stuff. Again, I thought a lot of the bars that were coming from Rapunzel, I think it was just because of the sound quality of her microphone was just kind of horrible. A lot of that stuff was being slept on. I have like a good pair of headsets, a good pair of a good pair of earphones and a good headset, so I can really pick up what was being said. But a lot of the stuff that was being said just sounded like it was really muffled badly. But she had some really good bars about I think is it, again, I'm going to get these mixed up. Is it Acre that has the child called Nivea?
That's Enigma.
Enigma. I'm going to get these guys mixed up all day. Right, Enigma. Right, with the he goes. She says something like she goes, "You give me a name like Nivea. That's gay as hell because you call me Nibia, so this faggot's going to rub me on his face as well," or something like that. Yeah. Or I think it was like this faggot or something. I don't know what she said specifically, but I think she said this faggot will rub me on his face as well, pointing towards Eek. And again, that was one of the most clever bars I think I've heard in that entire battle. I think it was just one of the more creative sort of bars that just came out. And again, you can sort of say that's borderline on that sort of controversial stuff because it was based on stuff that Enigma had said in the past about saying that he would rather. What did he say? I'm right in saying he's the guy that said that he would rather shag his own daughter.
He put his dick in his own 4-year-old daughter's mouth, I think is the line. Against DK, yeah. And Enigma, he does have that reputation gloriously. The tongue twister debut, the cracker battle's quite notorious for that as well. He battled Simon Mole at Latitude, which is one of those interesting battles for those into the spoken word scene. Shout out Simon Mole's only appearance, but yeah, Enigma I think is if you're going to go for the guys who go the furthest, you've got to name George Kelly.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, when you're hearing the bars that he said about the 4-year-old and whatnot, you're like, man, that sounds like the bar that would definitely be too pause-worthy to even talk about.
Unpausable, I think.
Yeah. I mean, but the thing is, though, he said it and I think he just went with it. Like, he didn't say it expecting to be, like, given a cheer for it or anything like that. Like, it seems as though that's one of the type of bars that he deliberately put in there just to get the harshest reaction he could, which is weird because it's like, it seemed to be like a huge slew of battlers that use controversy as like a fallback for creative lines. But I don't think Eek is the type of Enigma is the type of guy to do that. He just seems like he knows what he can get away with and what he can, and I think when you look at him, you're like, you know what? I wouldn't expect anything less. Like, I think it would be a bit weird to see him like come out and just rap something normal for once. Like, that would just be awful. I think from him though, expecting these kind of really disgusting, awful bars like you shouldn't be saying that kind of stuff from him actually works so well because it plays into the kind of image he's going for, I suppose. Like, he's got the tattoos and all that, and I think he's just trying his best to make it look like, yes, he is the scumbag that people think he is when he's battling. But I think that and I think as Enigma is the one that Enigma Eek is the one that's is meant to be Russian. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, again, he seems to be like the well-spoken one out of the two, and again, when the stuff was coming out of his mouth, you could just tell it's like he's playing up to that sort of like well-spoken middle class or upper class sort of like racism or anti-Semitism, and I think they work very, very well together because of that. He's kind of talking about shagging his own daughter, and the other one's just talking about like the Holocaust and gassing people in concentration camps and stuff. I think it works very, very well. They've got good chemistry like that. So I think when they came out with the stuff that they did, I think I was more receptive to that just because it just felt like, yes, these guys know exactly what they're doing. They're not just saying something nasty because they don't know or they don't have anything else to write for this particular person or this particular couple, I'm going to say. But they did very, very well with that, especially with all the anti-Jews jokes, even the American jokes. I don't think they had very many American jokes. I think it was just more of the fact that they had a relationship that kind of was at the time abroad. So they only seen her like 4 times a year. And he just went into these rape jokes, Jew jokes, just every now and then hitting it with a personal, then just going straight back to the controversial stuff. I think more of that needs to happen in battle rap. I think just like really a lot of more creative, controversial bars needs to happen. But I prefer it coming from guys like those, though, if I'm going to be honest.
And the next person I want to talk about is Cadillac Ron. Rest in peace to Caddy, a very notorious, legendary battler. And the battle I want to focus on in particular is versus unorthodox phrases.
And while I admit everything that my people did to your people back in the day is a tragic mistake, I still dug up the body of my great-grandfather and your great-grandmother then reenacted a rape. Alright? It makes sense. It's all gonna make sense. Don't worry. Okay, give me a chance, people. Yo. So, I think white people just miss the old days, man. You know, cotton and plantations, African imperialism, conquering nations. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten your half Haitian.
Maybe people haven't seen this battle, perhaps, who are listening to this. I actually covered it with Kelly Betts. Shout out to Kelly from No Coast, to the top 5 No Coast battles. That was a really good episode. And he kind of introduced me to this battle, which is on No Coast. And essentially, it boils down to Caddy dissecting modern day battle rap relations, right?
Yeah, I mean, towards the end, he has this whole bit about why is it's okay to say stuff about, you know, somebody who's short or somebody who's like Asian or white people or whatnot, but as soon as you're not brave enough to say it to a black person, so he kind of really hammered that home, and his first couple of first 2 rounds really went in on that. He had
some really, you know, on the knuckle sort of stuff, right?
Yeah, but it was really. But the thing is, though, it works because it was his multis were really very good.
Yeah, they were.
Leading up to these, and it was just like because he kept going with them. You're like, wait, you know what? I want to hear the end of this. I'll be offended later. I want to hear the end of this. But I think there was one point where somebody got in the crowd got a bit angsty about it. Which again in the event you can understand that somebody might get a bit heated or whatnot. But as long as the event went off without a hitch, nobody's thrown a fist, I don't really see there being any reason why a battle should be stopped at all. So, like, at the start, I think it kind of like Ron had a bar in the first round where he says if he were a normal black guy, he'd be eating fried chicken, and there's something about his eye twitching to white rhythm. Again, the whole multi was just so well structured leading up to that, and I think he gets away with it. Again, it's not really controversy for controversy's sake. It is genuinely like I can say this, not being as racist as it can be said, but it's like bridging that line where you can say stuff about Asians, you can say stuff about white people, but this is where, you know, I'm saying stuff about black people, and if I get a negative reaction, it just shows like there's hypocrisy in the scene itself.
Yeah, you've got to see the whole battle really to understand the first and second. There's a lot of stuff here. He calls him Emmett Till, horrible murder to start the civil rights movement. The idea of earlier him getting murdered by Lush and that giving them the division, that's quite a classic battle. And, you know, lots of things about your mother breastfeeding while she lactates, and she lactates black paste.
Oh, that was brilliant, because we followed up with that. It was saying I dug up my great-grandfather, your great-grandmother, and reenacted the rape, and that was just like one of the most savage bars I've ever heard. It was just unbelievable when I heard that. I was like, oh wow, like that's going to cause some people to go, hold up, you know, that's a bit fucking too far. But again, it's battle rap. I mean, it's something that needs to be addressed at some point. Is like, why is it that some things can be said in a battle rap and other things can't, just because it offends either one group of people or one particular person? But like, you know, other people will watch it and just go, yeah, that was a harsh bar, but you know, it doesn't offend me. So I think there needs to be a bit of balance on both ends. But I think let them get away with it and just discuss it afterwards. It definitely needs to be something that put on the table. But bars like what did he say? He goes, as far as I know, sharks love. You know, he said my people would replace the harpoon and use slaves as shark food. Right. Every time you smile, it reminds me of a racist cartoon.
Yes, yeah.
Jesus Christ. I mean, again, bars that are just like, well, that's again harsh, but it's not to the point where you're just like, right, no, this guy needs to be shut down. Take him away. He's not like he's screaming the N-word in people's faces. He's just literally pointing out that this is shit that's happened, you know, like racist cartoons were a thing, you know. There was like, you know, Walt Disney or Warner Brothers and whatnot had like really, really racially insensitive cartoons when they were brought about in the 30s and 40s. So again, that is touching upon something that did happen. And when he says that your smile reminds me of a racist cartoon, again, he's not being the racist cartoon when he's saying that. He's just pointing out that racist cartoons were a thing, and sadly, that's something that's ingrained in everybody's mind, is that's a part of a period of history that actually did happen. So, I mean, again, I think that was probably, though, for the time, I'm not sure, when did this battle originally happen? I don't suppose there was a...
I think it was like the 2011 era. Maybe it was, I think it was re-uploaded, actually, from a slightly earlier, but about 2010, I think, yeah.
2010. I mean, for the time, I think this was quite unheard of to go in on that kind of angle, especially for like a white guy to go in and a black guy. So for the time, I think this was like touching new ground. So I think Cadillac Ron definitely deserves props just on that alone for willing to go into a battle, knowing he's going to be on the receiving end, maybe even likely cause some actual genuine, trouble with people, going in with that mindset. And then again, kind of like how Ekin Enigma did it with the disclaimer.
Yes,
that's exactly what Cadillac Ron did in this third round, was basically pointing out, look, I'm just doing what battle rappers do. We attack our opponents, and if you say I can get doing it to one person but not the other, why is there like a double standard here? So I actually, congratulate him for that as well. He's again not just saying harsh shit because he thinks he can get away with it. He's genuinely got a message behind it. So I can't fault him for anything he said. A lot of stuff he said was, of course, not for everyone's taste, but I did enjoy it. There was what was it he said? He goes, sharks love dark meat. Only white people would invert shark meat, and lots of surfers get attacked because their wetsuits are black. Yeah. And again, the whole multi leading up to that was just fucking, just one of those bars you're just like, this is really, really good, but I can understand how somebody might get a bit.
And just like Ekin Enigma as well, how they can't resist reverting back to stereotype just as they close the battle. Caddy saying how most people misspell his name. It actually ends with 3Ks.
That again, another one of those sort of like just subvert what the original message was, just to show that his bars do have a message, he's not apologising for anything. Because usually if he ended the battle just there with the whole, this is the same with the Ekin Enigma, if they ended the whole battle with just a disclaimer, you're getting a kind of thing, alright, they're just being apologetic about the whole thing and trying to get away with it. But when they ended off with the whole, you're a woman, you're a Jew, he's like, no, there's no apology here, this is just a disclaimer to say, this is battle rap, fucking get over it. So again, same with Cadillac Ron, there's no apology here, this is not an apology for all the shit he said, this is just pointing out it's going to be said, and he's going to keep saying it, but just pretty much just fucking love with it. If you're into battle rap, this is what you're with. He said something in the third round, though, that I thought was quite... I thought he was going to go with a different angle for it, but he didn't. He said, "I didn't know they made black people that dark. You discovered your entire family tree had scars that large." Yeah, and he's holding his hands out. I thought the whole family tree thing was going to be talking about how like clan members used to hang black people from trees. I genuinely thought he was going to go with that angle, and I was like, okay, now he's going in some really harsh territory, but he never just went. I think the whole scars thing was just about like slave masters whipping and whatnot, so I get that angle, but I thought he was going to go a different way with it. I don't know whether or not that was his intention, maybe to have that sort of that dual meaning to it, but again, when I originally thought that was a whole bar about black people being hung from trees by like clan members, I was like, oh, that might cause a bit of disruption in, well, I wouldn't say in the room, it was in the park, wasn't it, this battle?
Yeah, it's quite busy though, quite a lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of people there for that battle, and a lot of people like standing behind him, like kind of looking at the looks on some of their faces when he was saying some stuff. They're like, do I get angry or do I really just enjoy how fucking funny that was?
Yeah.
But again, if the opponent is not getting angry, and through the whole thing, I think Unorthodox Phrases was literally the best sportsman in that entire situation, because you've got a situation where like battle rappers do not say things to black people just because it might cause a bit of an issue. They don't want to go down these stereotype routes, but Unorthodox Phrases took it like a champ. I think he lost badly, but I think the whole time he was like laughing, he was getting along with it. He's like,
he was encouraging it. He
really was. I mean, I think he's probably in the same boat as like Cadillac Ron, which is like, you know what, you're right. Why do some people get away with saying some shit and some people don't? But I don't think it means that we should just like openly just start doing it. I think it just means that there shouldn't be like a divide. If somebody wants to do it, they should be allowed to do it. I don't think everybody should just start writing their next battle if they're going up against a black person or whatever, just to start writing the harshest, most racist stuff they can. It's a case of, if you want to touch upon it, if that's the kind of battler you want to be, you should be allowed to do it. There shouldn't be a double standard when it comes to it. But again, Cadillac Ron touched upon it much better than a lot of people for the time, for the era. That little disclaimer in the third round was fucking perfectly said, because it kind of defines the state of the world as it is right now, if I'm going to be honest. Like that whole everything's racist and nothing gets a pass kind of thing. But in battle rap, I don't think that we should allow that to sort of dilute people's creative freedom when they're saying stuff. So Shout out to Cadillac Ron, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Great battler. This was a great battle. I love this.
Yeah. Next battler that I want to talk about. We must move on. There are so many horrible people that we have to get to. Next battler, I actually love this guy. He's came on the show. It's one of my favourite episodes. It was a very, very controversial episode in of itself. What are your thoughts on Zayn Azrai in general, Acre?
Zayn Azrai is literally one of my favourite people on Facebook right now. I just love everything he types, everything he writes. He's the embodiment of zero fucks given. He is the perfect fucking troll. I've never met anybody or seen anybody type as much bullshit as he does and just respond to all of it with such, like, I'm going to say, like, a head of iron. Just he does not back down. That's like the best part. And Zayn versus Mark Grist. I'll be honest, I do think Mark Grist won that, like, clearly.
Okay.
But Zayn was fucking brilliant in that battle. A lot of the stuff he was saying just kind of, I wasn't really enjoying the, what's the word? I wouldn't say like wordplay or whatever he was trying to get across, but just his entire demeanor throughout it all. Every time he said something, he'd put his hand up and try and calm the crowd down. Even if the crowd wasn't doing anything, he was like, they'll get it in a second and they'll be like really loud about it. He just put his hand up, trying to calm them down. But I think Zayn is he's brilliant. I love him so much.
I worship Lucifer. I praise the greatest one willingly. Mark and his son are Christians. They praise the God's one divinity. I will sacrifice Mark and his son to Satan's love religiously and murder Mark and his son as my razor cuts them viciously and turn the Father and the Son into Holy Ghost. I'm like Neo in the Matrix. I just fucked the Trinity.
Yeah, controversially wins here. This is one of the most disliked out there battles. And let's just talk a little bit about Zayn in general, because, when we did the episode, I watched a lot of battles that I hadn't seen before. I don't know if you've seen the Plans battle. It's quite notorious.
No, I've not seen very many battles.
Where he just goes in on this guy's dead father quite explicitly, and Plans gets up in his face quite quickly.
That was in this compilation. It was, the first thing he comes at the gate with is, your dad's been dead for years. Yeah. And I remember sitting there just going, hold on. I goes, did he say what I think he did? I had to rewind it for a second because he just, it's like out the blue, his accent kind of, I forgot that it was him for a second. So I had to go back and goes, your dad's been dead for years, and that was it. And I was like, oh. And he didn't even get to the second bar before everybody kind of started getting worked up about it. But yeah, that's, again, he's got balls. I'll give him that. He really has. He
says to Grist, he wasn't born yesterday, but the babies he rapes are.
Oh, that's so fucking good. And he said something about shoving his dick up his own arse to fuck his inner child. And then he has this build up, and it's coming because he does not make any point to cover it up, but it's coming when he goes, I call my girl baby. Because she's like a fantastic lady. You call your girl baby because she's an actual baby. And I was like, you knew it was coming, and you're sitting there like, yeah, you know what he's going to say here, but it's going to be funny when he does. And it was fucking hilarious. But again, he's got bars like that, and that's the kind of battler he is, and people keep booking him. People don't have a right to get upset. I mean, he's on the card, he's coming down. You don't have the right to stand there and then just go, oh, that didn't sit right with me. I goes, it's Zayn Azrai. He's literally a very controversial person in general, and he's very good at it. I fucking love his entire approach to battles as well. Just dumb shit, nasty shit as much as you can possibly get, and he gets away with it. He really does.
Long rounds here from Zayn as well. I love the fact that he opens with this 5-minute round full of reaction. This is the follow-up battle, lest we forget, after Blizzard. So, Grist would have had so many new fans going into this. And what's the next battle? It's not against another sort of kind street guy. It's against a monster.
Yeah, no, it's fucking unreal. I'm trying to think what he said. The thing is, Zayn said a great bar about what did he say? He goes, he lets children and adults penetrate his ass. They call his anus the generation gap. Oh, I love that fucking bar. It's just so fucking good. At one point he must have came up with that and just go, you know what? I think he came up with like a generation gap kind of bar and was like, you know what? How do I make this sound like he's a paedophile as well? So he kind of found a way to make it just sound worse than it actually was. But again, Zayn's that kind of guy, and anything that comes out of his mouth will be nasty, and it will be perfectly delivered in his voice and his demeanor. So I think coming out of anybody else's mouth, I don't think it'll be as funny or as exciting. But coming from him, just because of the way he approaches battles and the way he talks to people in battles, very, very effective, very, very good.
What do you think of the laptop that he brings out?
Oh, I didn't know what he was going. I thought he'd choked and he's forgotten his bars. I was like, oh shit! Like, does he not have a phone? I was like, but then again, when was this?
2012,
video?
I think.
Yeah, I was like, did people have phones back then that was capable of taking notes? I don't remember what the phones were like in 2012, but I'm guessing like Samsung must have had a Galaxy out at some point. But watching it when he brought out the laptop, I was like, I don't know what's going on. But Mark Grist's response to it was fucking brilliant. He goes, no, what's that? What's that? He's like, I was like, you know what? It's probably not even as bad as he thinks it is, but just the way he was stopping him. Because he knows what Zayn Asrai's like, and I think it's just the way he just went like, no, I don't want it. No, what is that? It looked like it was a genuine moment of like, nah, man, this is going. I think this is about to cross the line that I never thought I would have to cross in a battle with Zayn Asrai. But that is again just a moment where you're like, you know what? I wouldn't put it past Zayn to do something fucked up with that laptop, like get Photoshop pictures or have a video of Mark Grist photoshopped and fucking a pig or some shit. I don't know. I wouldn't put it past him, and I wouldn't be surprised if he gets ideas from what I'm saying right now if he's listening to this. Get ideas from this and to say, you know what, I'm going to go a step further than that. I'm actually going to bring a live pig out in a battle. But again, Zayn would get away with it. Like, I would let Zayn get away with anything in a battle. He's fucking perfect. He
says, I worship Lucifer in the third.
That's like the start of his story. Yeah. Worship Lucifer. He pulls no stops. That is just unreal. It's just like, how do you go into a battle and you start your third round with just like, I worship Lucifer, and again, just his demeanor, the way he just like calming the crowd down with his hand outstretched, like, yo, calm down, like, fucking, I worship Lucifer, and then he goes on from there. I think that round was definitely his weakest. I think he was freestyling most of it.
Yeah. He drinks milk from the balls of kids. Any kid is a calcium kid.
Calcium kid, yeah. Jesus. No, I think definitely that is a battle worth watching if you want to kind of see the lunacy that is Zayn Asrai. Like, a lot of people didn't really know much about Zayn. Even after he battled O'Shea, a lot of people kind of didn't get what Zayn Asrai was about. And I think that people really need to just give him the benefit of the doubt, and rather than sitting there thinking this guy's trying to be serious as possible, just remember this guy's a very, very well developed character, and Zayn plays it so well, and it's unreal some of the stuff he comes out with. Some of the generation gap was a hell of a barrier. Another one about his butt is on another level. He calls it the elevator shaft.
Right.
And Jesus Christ. Again, it's just like these very creative bars, but the way he delivers it just makes it sound like he's just he is literally a monster in his own right, just because of how controversial he can be and get away with it, just because of this character that he's developed. I think he needs more battle. I think has Zayn ever battled Pat Stay?
Oh my god, no, that hasn't happened yet. That
would be fucking fun. Or Zayn versus because he did very well against British battlers, I think.
We love him over here.
Yeah, I would love to see him versus Milky, if I'm going to be honest. Like, I think Milky and him would have a half off. But that's just me. That again, a lot of people don't give Milky much credit. But
no, it's a big dub scandal bias, but I'll allow it.
Yeah, no. The thing is, if you ever get a chance to chat with Milky, like if you ever go to an event and chat with Milky's very, very honest about what he does. He knows that he's not going to be hitting out with gun bars or hitting out with these kind of, but he knows that directness is what he does best, and he's very, very honest about everything. Like, literally, if he thinks a battler's shit, he will tell them. And I think that he's got the best mentality to go into a battle, which is just like, I'm just going to say what I feel like, rather than a case of, well, I'm trying to be harsher than I normally am, or I'm trying to be much more disgusting than the next guy. He's just going in with, like, I feel that this is a perfect body of meat. And I think Zayn does the same thing. Going into a battle is just like, I thought of this, it's going in. That's it. There's no there's no filter. This is it's Zayn Asrai at his best. He's just pure Zayn. Is like the best moments in battle rap is getting Zayn Asrai to just say the most disgusting shit he can possibly say.
Hugely controversial battle, as we say, because Zayn wins on a judge decision 3-2. The people that give it grist are MA, who has grist more eloquent, and Double L also gives it to grist. The Zayn people, Big Wiz gives it to Zayn, Uno Lavos, who says it will probably be the best battle of the night, and Luna C giving the deciding vote to Zayn.
I can understand Uno giving it to Zayn, but I don't understand Lunar C giving it to. You think of all people,
sure,
Lunar would be one of the ones to be a bit more siding not siding with Mark Grist, but maybe just appreciating what Mark Grist did more than Zayn, given the fact that Zayn had like a very bad third round. If I'm going to be honest, and I think Mark had a much better first round in terms of just being consistent with it. I think Zayn took a little bit too long to get into his first, but even so, it was a great battle, I think. But I think, yeah, genuinely, I do not agree with that judging. Now, if you want to talk about controversial, let's talk about controversial judging, then that's one of the controversial ones. I think Mark Grist definitely took it, but there's nothing against Zayn. I think Zayn is a great fucking character, a great fucking battle. He definitely entertained. It wasn't like it was like Zayn's fault that battle might have tipped in one favour or another. It was a case of Zayn did what he did. Mark Grist just did what Mark Grist does a little bit better. And Zayn put on a fucking show that I don't think Zayn really at the end really cares about whether he's winning or losing, just whether or not he's entertaining people. He's kind of like a Magic Mike in that sort of sense. So he just comes out to just do his own thing. So I don't think the judging, I don't even think that battle should have been judged, if I'm going to be honest. Like, it was just fine on its own. Yeah. It's like one of those battles that just kind of fine on its own. Like, did it really need to be judged? Would it really have mattered in the long run? Like battles like like proper serious battles, like, your Shotty Horrors and your Tony D's, they should be judged because there's actually like something to gain from it, like actual stature. But everybody knows who Mark Grist is, from that Blizzard battle. Everybody gets Mark Grist, everybody enjoys him, and a lot of people at that point eventually learned the hard way, they learned who Zayn was. So again, against one of those battles, I didn't really need to be judged, so I don't think I'm taking the judging too seriously with that battle. So either way, I say Mark won, but if they gave the voting to Zayn, I just don't see why Leonard would go towards Zayn. If I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, he was riding the viral wave with Grist.
Yeah.
It's like, help a guy out. But someone we just mentioned who would be good against Zayn is our next focus, Pat Stay.
Yeah.
In particular versus Marv 1, which again was featured on a compilation I'm going to talk about that you mentioned before, Expensive Heat, which is basically just concerning all these different notorious events that maybe we might have missed in these major topics. But yeah, Pat Stay versus Marv 1.
His pops did leave when he was 16. That ain't funny at all, is it? And he does got a brother who's autistic. I hope that fucking retard gets it. I'll roll up on him like, what's up with the gang signs? What crew was you with? Grab his little mental face and smack the fucking drool off his lips. Spit going everywhere. Rip open his teddy bear, whip him over the head, then kick his mental chair down a set of stairs.
Starting off, like the whole intro to that battle is just like a sort of clip from the previous battle that Marvin was in, where that led up to the battle. So it's good for the drama side of things. That was actually a good thing to put in, because I wouldn't have known about that at all. I wouldn't have thought to research that or anything. But the fact that they put that in at the start, like how this battle came to be, was like through some genuine tension. Yeah. And just starting off the battle, I think when Marv 1 said, "I'm going to do this whole thing like Sun Tzu," I'm going to be honest, that whole sort of I'm going to point out the things that he might bring up is not a good angle. Yeah. I think that's stupid. I think that's trash. Mm-hmm. If I'm going to be honest, like, oh yeah, he's going to talk about this. Well, yeah, he's going to fucking talk about it. He's a battle rapper, and these are easy topics to go at. So it doesn't make you any better by pointing out, he's going to say this about me. It's like, you've left yourself open. You've wasted time telling people that, people that probably know Marv 1 probably know all this stuff about him anyway. Like, he's probably tweeted about it or posted on Facebook about how he was younger, his dad walked out, or his brother's got autism, and his other brother, has his own problems. So, like, it's not like it's a case of, like, Pat Stay did some, like, proper Ogmios level research on it, like, going, like, deep, like, how the hell did you know that? How the hell did you find that out? It's just a case of, it's public knowledge. You've wasted, like, most of your round telling us what Pat Stay might say to you. So I think you've kind of lost that round already. You've not said anything that's gonna dampen the blow or like bring what Pat Stay says down a level, unless you're sort of turning it back on him. So he's going to talk about my brother, but watch when he does, when I bring up the fact that he's done this in his life and he's done that. So when he brings up that shit, remember that, because that works well, I suppose. But he didn't do any of that. It was just a case of, oh, my brother's this, my dad walked out, and these are the truths of my life. And then Pat Stay just follows up, making it sound kind of freestyled as well, which made it even more effective, because it sounded like at some points he was genuinely freestyling all the stuff he was saying about his autistic brother. Again,
him throwing up gang signs.
Jesus Christ. He's like throwing up gang signs, like what hood you rep, and it was just I was like, oh my god,
what crew you with?
Yeah, what crew you with? That was it. Yeah, he's like making the little hands as well, and I was like, oh my god. I think at some point Pat Stay probably just at his angriest when he wrote the ideas for that. Probably not when he actually wrote the bars, but I think when he went into I think he went in with the intention just to be as cruel as possible. But again, this is like one of those battles where it's like, was that controversial or was that just genuinely nasty? towards the guy he was battling? Like, was that like really a case of like people are going to bring that up, like saying, how dare you say that about autistic people, or how dare you say that is like a touchy subject for anybody? And like bringing up the whole Holocaust thing in the Acre and Enigma battle, again, that can be a touchy subject for some people, but the way they were bringing it up was just like comical. It was so ridiculous and absurd you couldn't make it. But Pat Stay in this battle was not being ridiculous or absurd. He was being like quite nasty with the things he was saying about Marv's own family,
and Proof as well. Him trying to make his dead homies proud.
Yeah,
Proof, looking down from the clouds, wanting to smack you like the dad you never had right now.
Yeah, again, these are very, very harsh bars. So again, I'm saying that the best thing that came out of that was that again he did the whole disclaimer thing about the I think it was the he said something about Proof being.
Yeah, proof of how much of a bitch you are, somehow.
Yeah, saying that I would never attack a man that's defenseless. That's the kind of shit that he would do. Yeah. So again, putting in disclaimers for the idea that he understands what he's saying is pretty harsh, but then he follows up by saying, "I'm just showing proof of what a bitch you are," and that ends his round. And again, another bit of name flip. Again, Cadillac, Ron did it. They did the whole disclaimer thing, and they just followed up with a bar because it's not an apology. He's just pointing out he understands what disrespect is and what isn't, but he's just like clarifying for people that he's not attacking Proof. He's attacking the man that he rolled with, kind of. So again, Pat Stay are probably very, very angry right in this battle. Going into the battle, he looked quite relaxed, but I think he was quite angry going into it. I guess the whole because he mentions it. I think in the third round or the second round, I think it was the beginning of the third, where the whole edited footage, the footage had been cut out about them actually struggling and him demanding that he comes outside and fights him or whatever. And again, I can see from Marv 1's point of view and kind of Pat Stay, like Pat Stay got quite riled up in the middle of Marv 1's battle. So leading to this whole battle, there was a lot of tension. But I think Marv 1 played it very, very cool throughout the whole thing. Like he could have done what he did in the first battle, which was like fucking get right up in Pat Stay's face, which we know he's capable of doing. He's done it. In his own battle, he kind of stopped and he just started squaring up to Pat. Like, we know he's capable of doing that. And during this battle, he did keep it professional, which is actually, I think, unheard of.
Does Marv win to you, though? Because Marv does win the judge decision.
I would say, based on consistency alone, I would say yeah. I wouldn't mind giving Marv 1 the win, but I think if we're looking at the impact that battle has had going forward, I'd say that Pat Stay kind of won in the long run, because Pat Stay eventually did go on to become champ, and Marv 1 kind of, I'm not going to say faded off.
No, he just sort of continued where he was, really.
Yeah. I think this was kind of launching pad for Pat Stay a little bit more as well, because he calls out Sketch Menace in the battle, and again, I think this whole cruelty thing that he comes out. I think he said something in the beginning of his third round. He goes like, "You think Arsenal doing what he did?" Shuki goes, "Well, I didn't. I wasn't let him go. I wasn't gonna let him school me like those kids." And he says, "I turned my back and walked away like your dad did to you." And again, just these really, really harsh, nasty bars. But again, I wouldn't mind people giving Marv 1 the win. I personally felt that Pat Stay might have took it just from a historical point of view,
right?
Just because of what became of that afterwards was that Pat Stay was talked about because of that battle, and I think he had a lot more impact and a lot more drive going forward, just because. Again, he just had that presence where he was just saying some of the nastiest shit, and I think he was doing it genuinely for the purpose of being nasty, but he was very creative. He wasn't doing it this is a jokey, I'll get away with it kind of thing. It was just like, how nasty and disgusting can I be towards this person? And I think he got away with it very well as well. I don't think that it's going to cause anybody issues. Again, if the judge decision went one way or another, nobody's going to sit there and go, "Oh, that's a robbery." It's just a case of, well, you took away what you did. You probably didn't like or didn't feel any of Pat Stay's approach or angles, and probably felt that Marv 1 did a better job with actual bars. But looking at it from Pat Stay, I think Pat Stay had the crowd much more on his, not on his side so much, but I think they were sort of on the edge of the seat, hanging on his every word, because he was saying some really fucked up shit, like the whole I'm having it makes me, he goes, "I did do a blog, it was the deepest apology, but now it makes me laugh like your brother's cerebral palsy and evil thoughts of beating off while he's convulsing." And it's just like the multis alone are just fucking pretty good, but just the way he's saying it again to Marv, after he's already pointed out, I have an autistic, but again, cerebral palsy and autism are not the same thing. But I think again, just the whole freestyle, just talking about your brother's probably got like a multitude of ailments. I'm just going to pick one at random and just abuse you for it. But Patch Day did very, very well with it. I think he kind of lost his way in the second, but the third was quite good for it. He actually went back into that harsh sort of beast mode that he talks about.
Yeah.
But I don't mind seeing
the mother sucking the retarded brother's dick is mentioned.
Yeah, that was again one of those pause-worthy bars. You're like, why do you hope that will happen? Like, why wouldn't you say something like, "I bet your mother did this"? Why would you say something like, "You know what? I hope." It's in my dreams. I go to sleep at night thinking about this happening to you. It's like, well, I mean, just the awkward wording aside, it's still a very harsh bar on its own right. But the fact that he said, "I hope this happens," it's just like, well, that's less of an attack on Marv and more like speaking to you as a character. These are the things that are going through your head rather than sort of like talking about, if you're, because he says something about like beating your brother's mental face in and then throwing him his metal chair down a staircase. Yeah, I mean, he's talking about how he's going to get violent with his, his autistic brother, but in this particular bar, he's saying, my deepest wishes is that, your brother's his dick gets sucked by family members. Like, well, I mean, it's very, very weird wording with that bar, but again, it's just, I think it was just in the moment. I think it was just in the moment when he said that, so I'll give him a pass, I suppose. But yeah, very pause-worthy. I think he should, be careful how he words things in future.
Next person I want to take a quick look at. We discussed it just before we went on air. I'd accidentally sort of picked the wrong battle example for this person, and they're not the most obvious battler out there. Tink the Demon is who I'm talking about.
Here's what I want from you. I'm a realtor, your real estate. I rearrange your furniture. My spur to the back of your kitchen. What that pump for? To push his fucking forehead out like a junk drawer. As soon as
This is a guy most known on the URL, and I guess I want to explore more of, I suppose, his genre, that sort of horrorcore, torture porn sort of battle rap.
Yeah, I mean, like, when I was younger, I think I'd got into, like, battle rap, not battle rap, it was like rap music, like Necro and stuff like that, but that was just because there was, like, even though the content wasn't exactly to my liking, it was just the structure of everything actually was structured quite well. Like, I guess I just got drawn in to that sort of horrorcore, death rappy kind of stuff. I think Tink the Demon, when he was battling Mike P, this is the battle that you did get me to watch eventually, you can kind of see that in him as well. He does do that really horrorcore type stuff, like, gutting people and playing with their intestines kind of talk. But I don't, from that battle, he only had like one really controversial topic that he kind of touched upon for Mike P, and that was the fact that Mike P himself had almost overdosed. I think it was something to do, I don't know whether or not there was any fact or truth behind that, but it touched upon it. It sounded like it might have been truth because Mike P kind of just didn't react to it. He didn't give that sort of screw face, like, what is he talking about kind of deal, which is a case of he just blank faced it, so I guess there must have been some truth in it. But again, when he brought that up and he was going on about how, he's overdosing and whatnot, again, was that controversial or was that just harsh?
No, there's two things that really come to mind with Tink, and again, I'm using Tink a bit as a sigil, really, to signify the whole theme. But he I think against Dre Dennis on his PG, he talks about cutting open his spine and playing Jenga with the vertebrae, which works on a certain image. It's not that great of a line. Against Swave Sever, which is actually quite a funny battle. I don't know if you've seen it. Saga performs an exorcism on Swave Sever, and like demons leave his body and stuff. It's quite intense, quite interesting. Anyway, he talks about grabbing Swave's wife, cutting her stomach open, and stapling a live orphan inside.
Jesus Christ! Fucking hell! Again, these are those type of what is it? Like, we had these jokes when we were younger. Like, I don't know if you remember, like zombie baby jokes, and they were like just ridiculously over the top, pointless jokes. Like, there was just like something you would tell in the school playground. You get in trouble if you get caught telling one. One of them was like a dead zombie baby joke was like what walks in a circle and screams. And it was like a zombie baby with his foot nailed to the floor. And it was just like one of those fucked up, just like, wow, that's not even a joke. That's just controversial for the sake of it. And again, Tink with the whole death rap horrorcore thing, that would have kind of shocked. That's, again, shock value more than anything. It's less controversial and just more of the shock value nastiness. Yeah. So
Yeah, and as you say, visually he's like a hulking beast. Like he sort of barks these lines. You know, he's a huge guy.
Fucking huge. He's fucking massive. He's like,
he towers over Mike P. Like.
He's not even. It's not even a case that he's tall. He's also big. Like you get really tall rappers, like Laser Shack, but he's got quite a small frame. Laser Shack, like he's quite a
quite nymph-like, I think. Like,
yeah, like, but fucking Jesus Christ, man! Watching the battle, Mike P's like about probably the same height as me and you.
Yeah.
Like quite a tall guy, like in the 6'1" range maybe, and fucking Tink is just like huge, and I think that's why that death rap thing, that death rap, keeps saying death rap, because Necro's on my mind right now, but that whole horrorcore thing works so well for Tink because of his size, because a lot of people that size would just use their size and that would be the advantage that they would have, but he's talking like he can say anything and nobody would have the balls to say something about it. So I think he has definitely found his niche with the whole horrorcore thing, because I don't know, did he ever, because he mentions it in the Mike P battle, did he ever eventually battle Suge?
No, that didn't happen. I believe he's in prison at the moment. He battled Saga last, which was kind of like mid-2017, but hopefully, he'll be battling soon again. The next person I want to focus on is one of the most notorious guys out there. He is one half of certainly the most infamous Don't Flop battle of all time. It's Caustic.
He's scared of his baby mama because she's elephant size. So he fucks random strippers. He's a hell of a guy. So ladies, next time you get approached by Jefferson Price, why don't you tell him to go home and try fucking on his heavy-set wife? I don't even get how you sleep at the end of the night. I honestly hope every last sperm inside your testicles dies. So stop running around England like you're some sexual prize and deal with the fact that you're gonna sleep next to that fat bitch for the rest of your life.
See, this is one of the strange ones, and I think this is one of the battles on this list that made me just go, this is a different there's a different battle compared to the other ones.
This is life-changing what he does here.
This is the thing that got me was that this is probably the most effective use of the medium to really break down a person and visibly shake them to the core. I mean, I think it set a new standard for that sort of real talk kind of bars.
It did.
I mean,
it inspired Blunt Ted, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, in some ways, like if you look at the sort of I'm trying to think, Soul's battle versus Raptor or Soul's battle versus Tony. I'm not saying Soul got the idea from Caustic. What I'm saying is that those battles only had the real impact it did with the crowd going absolutely wild, is because battles like Caustic versus Jefferson Price, where it was like, even in the room, even watching that battle back, it's like I don't think that the people in that room really realized the impact that this battle was about to have on Jefferson Price's life. So like Caustic again, that battle, just watching it back, it's like, wow, the crowd was not necessarily sleeping. It's just like, imagine if they knew going into this battle what they were in for, and the reaction they'd probably get would be akin to what Soul got against Raptor, what Soul did against Tony, which was just break down who you are as a person. And I think Caustic's whole, it's one of those groundbreaking rounds, I would say, just because of what it was, because it wasn't just a case of I'm being nasty for the sake of it. This is the shit I know about you. This is the shit you've been hiding from people, and you could visibly see it in Jefferson Price's face. He was not happy. Right, I'm not saying he was shook. Like a lot of people were saying he looked like he's going to cry. I think he was just kind of frustrated to some degree, because Caustic was bringing up what I'm guessing was private discussions between them, and I think that kind of threw him off. I think it was just like why would he bring private discussions up? Whether or not there was any truth to the whole, because what is it he says? He goes, let's talk. He goes, you think you're a cocky bastard, then I can't do it. I think you do it in his accent, but either way, think you're a cocky bastard, then home to your fat fiance Carly after opening up condom wrappers with that fucking bitch Holly Masters. Yeah. And then he got he got Uno Labos, I think it was, to say that bit. And again, the effectiveness of that, he could have easily just said it himself, like saying "fuck the rules." Yeah. But he went a completely different way with it. Again, it's just
noble in a sort of scoundrel way.
Yeah, I think it was. I think the way he approached that round, I think, had the whole situation not happened the way it did, I think if there's any truth to everything that Caustic said, where he said his bars to Mickey told him to Jefferson, and Jefferson told him, please don't say any of that. If there's any truth to all of that, then I think that was probably the best thing that could have happened to Caustic for that, because he has literally laid the foundation for like a lot of battle rap styles, which is just like, let's talk about you. And let's break down who you are, and let's completely fucking like rip that wide open. Because I'm saying, I'm not saying people get the idea from Caustic to do this. I'm just saying that the impact that those kind of bars have works so very well. I think that's the reason why, like, going forward nowadays, like back then, I don't think I've ever actually seen fully, like, we'll touch upon this, like it's like a Senza battle, but the impact he had live in the room versus Shocks because of the shit he was saying probably wouldn't have landed, like, 5-6 years ago before this battle happened. But I think the way this battle happened, the way Caustic was addressing every single thing, which is like the fact that you begged me not to say any of the names in this round, and the effectiveness of having Uno Lavo say them instead, and then going on about how you brought this on yourself, how can you go back and fuck your fat fiance, and also I've learned, he said I learned something about which again, I learned something about, the first thing I learned about England is never spit your verses for that snitch Mickey Murthless. Again, like, calling people out in the middle of his round, really just going harsh on the whole thing. I think people in the room didn't realise what the impact this would be. Of course, they were reacting along, but to be in the room for that and just not know how the fuck to react must have been unreal. And I think Caustic is probably just... I think it's weird to say, but I think Caustic was definitely the pioneer of that kind of, let's just fucking ruin your life.
Exploding everything, like, yeah.
Whether or not he did, like, this is the weird thing. Like, I'm not sure if Jefferson Price...
He must have, like...
Yeah. I'm trying to think about the impact he had on Jefferson Price's life. Like, maybe Jefferson Price decided not to go on to battle rap anymore just because of shit like that. He's probably doing well for himself. I don't know. Is like, did he the fact that it's had such an impact to the point where the guy doesn't even battle anymore? The guy who was very popular at the time as well. It's not just like some newcomer like who's like on his first battle, and dare I say a dub scandal tryout, getting fucking bodied. This is like something else entirely. This is a guy who was like almost like this is like a main headline kind of event for Don't Flop at the peak. And fucking Caustic made sure that he never battled again. You get a lot of people like saying that, like, oh, when I go into this next battle, my opponent's never going to battle again. He's going to quit battle rap. Caustic's the only one who actually done it. So, they can never take that away from Caustic. Caustic is the fucking greatest just for that alone. He stopped a guy from battle rapping, a guy that looked like he was going to be the most popular of that region. I think if
he could have been a crossover star, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Jefferson Price, again, when I first watched the battle, like I did see it quite a while back, maybe like half a year back, just clips of it leading up to Caustic's round. But watching the full battle for the first time, watching just Jefferson Price sort of lead up, he's a very likeable guy going into it. Like, he's got a very sort of cheeky attitude to him, and you're like, you know what, I could get behind him. He's like, I think he would have had like a sort of impact, like even if he was around nowadays, like with the whole Don't Flop, Rise and Fall. I think he might have played a decent part in that as well. Like the return of Jefferson Price could have been on par with return of Senza even, but the fact that Caustic literally ended that man's career, whether it was by, I mean, like I'm saying, like it's not like Caustic told him you're never battling again. Jefferson Price made the choice. I'm not doing this anymore because of what just happened to me. It's a really hell of an impactful statement, especially and the fact that it happened on British ground, a battle like that, in somebody's career on British. Has there been like an American equivalent of that?
I don't think there has. Caustic battled a guy called Daly, I think, in King of the Dart, and he walked out of the battle midway through.
Oh, right, okay. You know what, I can understand, but again, was Daly like a big known name?
No, I don't think he was a scalp like Jefferson would have been. No, I don't. There's nothing similar. I think it's a verb unto itself, isn't it? Getting Jefferson priced.
Yeah, that is the fact that it's had that impact, and Caustic's career is just kind of skyrocketed. He's become literally like the one of like the, what would you say, like a benchmark for what a quality fucking round is. It's just unreal. And like I said, the reason why that I would watch like the Battle of Soul versus Raptor, watch that first round, and I think it's one of the greatest fucking UK battle rap rounds. But the way the crowd was reacting to it, I just get the feeling that, a battle like Caustic and Jefferson Price sort of laid the sort of groundwork for that kind of battle or that kind of approach going forward. And I think that, regardless of whether he got that crowd reaction or not, Soul still beat Raptor quite easily. But I think the reaction he was getting, you can even see it on Soul's face. I don't think he was expecting that level of, holy shit, what the fuck is he saying to him? And I think that's why that's one of the fucking best first rounds in a title match probably ever, just because of not just the reaction of the crowd, just because they were carrying like Soul was just like building on that momentum. Like, started off quite slow with that whole thing, but the thing is, this Caustic battle, it just feels like to me that it has like a ripple effect throughout the whole, at least through UK battle rap. It's had that sort of ripple effect. There's a lot more real talk in battle rap that's being appreciated more because of battles like that. And I think it's just because people like that sort of thing now. They're like the idea, you know what, you can end somebody's career if you say the right things. If you get the right angle, you can actually end somebody's career. And like I said, I said at the very, very start, battle rap might not be serious business for some of these guys. It can cause them some serious issues. And this is one of the guys that just got the brunt end of it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what he said. He goes, that one line that he said, he goes, "This shit got incredibly real."
Mm-hmm.
And
iconic.
It's brilliant. He goes, "Why should I change my verses? You're the one that's got to carry the guilt. Let's talk about that." And then Nuno Lavas kicks in, "Girl, Sarah McGill."
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's just another girl. Whether or not it's real or it happened, it's just unbelievable. He just goes, cry face. You're mad. It's a cry face. And he's just like... But again, I think when Caustic originally took this battle, let's see if that third round had happened the way it did, without the whole bringing up the fact there was conversations about not doing the question is, would it have had the impact? I still think it would have been a fucking dangerous round in itself, and might have still ended Jefferson Price's career, but would it have been as effective had the whole situation where he'd spat it for Mickey told Jefferson, and Jefferson told him, please gonna not do this? Would it have made it, because I think Jefferson Price's reaction alone is what kind of had this battle being as one of the greatest rounds in UK battle rap, for just for that sort of impact it had on the scene as a whole. It's just Jefferson Price just his eyes wide open, he's fucking shrugging, he's fucking pointing at people and just fucking looking around, shocked. I think if he didn't know going in that these were the bars that were going to come with, I think Jefferson Price probably would have played it a bit better. But I think because he knew a lot of what Caustic was saying was true, and they have discussed it, probably made it feel a lot worse than it actually was. So I think that the best thing that could have happened to Caustic was the fact that he told Mickey Worthless's round.
Yeah.
And he got to Jefferson. That made that round, I think, so much better, because he said at the very end, never share... Never spit your verses for that snitchman. Well, he says at the end, he goes, if your wife still says I do to you after this verse, it's because she's high on drugs. Just remember this while you're high, when you're writing your vows, kid. You can't put a price on love. So I thought that was a name flip. I'm hoping, but put a price on love, and I was like, that is just such a great ending to the whole thing. To then end it with that you can't put a price on love, just such a fucking. Just wrapped it all up and put a nice little bow on it. Caustic ended his career. He literally put his career in a box. Caustic is the only one that can get away with that. He's the only one that can say, I literally ended a man's career at this point. And if anybody's done it better, by all means, I need to know about it, because that was just I think that was definitely a groundbreaking moment in battle rap for that to happen. And then the backlash or the outcome of that was that Jefferson Price no longer has a career, and his name
his verse tracker ends with this battle.
That's fucking unreal. Yeah. That's just... I can't believe battle rap has ruined somebody's life to this degree.
and for Caustic, this was in a real, purple patch for him. Daly was actually before the guy who walked out. After was versus John to Don, which is a really good battle from him. About a year later, he battled battled Cortez and had a similar round. Think about him having whiskey dick or something in his fur, sort of revealing that. And he did adopt that persona for a while that he doesn't seem to do as much. I think he said something derogatory against Arsenal as well in their clash a little later, so he has that notoriety following him. The next guy that I want to look at, that again is someone that I really think is one of the best battlers going in the UK, someone who has had an incredible return that we saw live, and it's actually coming out, the time of us recording this episode, coming out tomorrow on the King of the Dot channel. I'm really excited to see what the reaction is going to be from the wider audience. This is Censor.
So you came to this battle event with the shittest purpose. You just wanted to put your hand on a man's arse and kiss him like Mickey Worthless. In Liverpool, knowing where the police are comes naturally to folks. His mates all say, here come the pigs, whenever O'Shea's family approach.
This is the battle that we looked at, was the one where he had, it was the title match versus O'Shea.
Versus O'Shea,
That was fucking brilliant. I love that battle.
Yeah.
I think Senza said some of the stuff, and again, another thing where they put the clip of the original battle in the intro, where he said the bars about Hillsborough and the bars about Riz Jones, and again, he even mentioned it in the battle. He goes, I remember, I saying that I'm feeling, I get a lot of hurt for it. I get a lot of people getting angry about it, and goes, but I'm feeling less regret for my verse, mate, because if it wasn't for people like you and your friends, that little boy wouldn't be dead in the first place. Right. And it's just that is just that's really, really harsh. And again, that is a controversial bar.
Doubling down.
As he's even making the point that, you know what? Well, what I said back then was kind of bad. Let's be real here. Like, it's just a case of, like, I'm not pulling the punches. I'm not being apologetic. I am literally saying the bars that I want to say I want to get away with. I think watching that battle, the only thing that kind of played, because this is the first the Senza battle I've ever seen, right, if I'm going to be honest, because I've never watched a Senza battle going in, because when the whole the whole Shocks versus Senza thing got announced, a lot of people saying Senza will take it 3-0, Shocks will take it 3-0. I was like, you know what? I've only seen a couple of clips of Senza battling, and I was like, you know what, he would still translate quite well, because he was big, like, way back, like, what, 2010?
Yeah.
And his bars age really well. I don't think his style does, though. There's a lot of double time moments in this battle versus O'Shea that I didn't really like. But again, back then it might have been good, but, you know, might have been the thing to do back then. But I'm not really a big fan of that whole double time stuff where you're just sort of like stringing multis and not really saying much. But his impactful bars were just really unreal. He said, what was it he's saying, that he said something about, he goes, why are you mad at me for making Hillsborough bars when he's in an Everton, he's like an England hooligan who crushed people by choice or something like that towards O'Shea. He was going on about O'Shea being like a football hooligan in the past. Again, I don't know if there's any truth to it or whatever, but like Senza really does hammer this point home. He goes really quite into it, and the fact that he was able to recount his previous bars, like the Hillsborough bars and the Rhys Jones bars, bring them back up and then twist them in a way that relates to like O'Shea's sort of, well, I'm guessing whether it was a real life thing or not, but just to his personal life, he does it so well. And he is one of those guys that can say controversial stuff like this and make it so effective to the person that he's speaking to. That he even mentioned that, like, he never progressed. That's why his bars back then were way more controversial for no purpose. Nowadays, they've got like somewhat of a purpose themselves. They're directly attacking their opponent. So I think Senza again is one of those guys that really, really does translate very well, and he ages so well as well. Apart from the whole double time thing, his actual bars translate very well as well. So I think anybody who gets into battle rap should definitely watch a Senza battle, especially versus O'Shea. A lot of the thing he was saying at the end, I was just like, oh wow, I had to pause a lot of the stuff. Just like, that is so fucking cruel. And he goes, He goes, you've got a lot of hooliganism in his past, and he puts up this facade to just hide from the fans what a piece of shit you are. And because of the whole jokey, he's even going in on O'Shea's style, the way he's just joking, and the fact that he chokes quite a fair bit. And he says, I've never choked a single battle, so it shows the effort that I put in. And then goes right back into this whole, you're a disgusting piece of shit, pretty much. It works so well for Senza. I think Senza definitely needs to be battling a lot more against a lot more people that he can say a lot more harsher shit to than O'Shea.
Senza has obviously a sort of hall of shame, I suppose, to a certain extent. No one should be ashamed. It's great stuff, but quite notorious stuff. He does have that reputation of, just speaking bluntly and honestly. And, even in the Shocks battle, the stuff was landing so strong, right?
Yeah, again, I didn't know anything about Senza going into it, other than just the clips I've seen, like a compilation of best UK battle bars. You'll see like a Senza clip in there. You're like, oh, that's all right, and then another one, you'll be like, nah, not for me. But in the room, when I was standing there listening to his first round, I was like, this has got to be the greatest fucking first round I've ever been there live for. This is unreal. And I was there for Soul versus Tony as well. Right. I was there live in the room, and I thought Soul's fucking first round at the point was the greatest first round I'd ever heard. And then hearing Senza, the way his approach went for Shocks was just, again, unreal, just because he is so impactful with the directness of his sort of controversial bars. So he'll say some really nasty shit, but it is directed. It all has a point. There's no I'm saying it because it sounds nasty and it'll get shock value in the room. Everybody was on it. Everybody loved it. They were stomping their feet. They were just looking around like that. This cannot be happening. This is an unreal round. So I think seeing Senza in the flesh really set in stone for a lot of people that, yes, if you weren't there for that sort of gold era of Don't Flop sort of rise, and you didn't see Senza in as in the heyday of Don't Flop, seeing him there versus Shocks, who's like, I think Shocks is literally probably at the moment one of my biggest influences in battle rap. To see him stand in front of that was just unreal, because it's like, wow, Senza is actually taking a fight to Shocks, and it's just, just because of the harshness. Because again, like I said, whether the stuff he was saying was facts or not, like the stuff about the whole, again, you can get into this at some point, the whole Danny Ramsey thing. If whether or not those things that he was saying to Shocks was real or not, the impact that they had will probably likely follow Shocks for a while. Shocks himself said he's retiring. I'm glad it has nothing to do with this battle because that would be a completely different story. So otherwise, Senza would have pulled a caustic if that was the case, but. The funny thing is, watching this battle back, because I bought the pay-per-view, watching this battle back, there's something so comfortable about Senza being back in the battle rap ring, saying the shit that he's saying that has barely changed since way back. It's unnatural seeing it in the room. It is genuinely, no matter what he says, that man can get away with saying anything at this point.
Next person again, a familiar face locally, the man Innuendo.
Back to the fact you're a proper butch lesbian. Do you know why? Because you've got too much testosterone and not enough estrogen. Now, I know that's intense, but don't catch offence. I just want to know you can spend your life in the closet and still have no fashion sense. Woo! Oh yeah, let's take it a little while. And I've been looking forward to this clash, but I can't wait for a little while later. Because if she drops a guard for 1 second, then I'll rape her like Nile Ranger. Woo!
And there was a lot of battles to choose from here. And I guess I went with the DK one because he's so brazen, really, with his suggestion. Yeah,
this is the weird one, right? When I was watching this battle, like nothing really stood out for me as being good in terms of how
no, I suppose
it's not bad bars so much. It's just like I understand the angles he's trying to go for, but nothing was standing out for me saying like, right, is he actually going to...
What about his large carvery scheme in the first?
That's weird. I think it's like a 12 of one, like a 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, where he's got these bars about talking most of the time. He even says at the start, I'm just be talking about your fucking pussy for the whole battle, for the next 3 rounds. I'm like, okay, at least he's prefaced it. He's not going to skirt around the issue. He actually goes in on it. But listening to it and, hearing him, rap, and I'm just like, it's good for battle rap, but I'm not really feeling the impact of these bars the way I should. Like, I'm not sitting there going, oh, that was a bit cruel. Like, you shouldn't have, that might cause some people in the crowd to get really, really wound up about. But he's just saying, like, really kind of, like, from my point of view, I didn't feel anything controversial come from it. He was saying, like, harsh things, but nothing that was, like, making me go, like, how did this battle get released? If he was saying stuff like that, like nothing that would make anybody in the audience, be so pissed off that they would walk out like this is just a pointless hate battle. It's just like, but I think it's when you, especially that scheme that you were mentioning there, when I heard that, I was like, oh, okay, he's going somewhere with it. But then it kind of, I don't want to say fell flat because he did a good job. I actually think he might have won. The battle itself, but it's just like I'm not feeling his approach to it because everybody does that. They go up against a battler, like a female battler. They go up against a woman in a battle rap, and they either just talk about raping or they just talk about their figure or their sex life, and it's just like, right, you can definitely go further than this and still keep the controversy up if you're going to do it, because you wonder yourself, like, if you're going to be battling again, we all know what to expect. We know you're going to go in on the fact that it's a woman. Yes, she has a reproductive organ that you want to stick your dick into. I get it, right? You're going to do that. That's the only thing that you've got to work with. But DK is actually very established, as far as I'm aware, like spitter. She's not just there, like, playing up on the whole, I'm a woman that battles. She actually happens to be a very, very good, very, very talented battle rapper. So when he went in on those angles, I was like, there must be something more to it. And there must be something more harsh that he can do with it to basically have the impact that he was looking for. But I don't know, man. Like, I just didn't feel anything that he was saying was really all that harsh. Obviously, it was in bad taste, but it wasn't really making me go, you shouldn't have said that, man. That's fucking out of order. So I don't know. Like, was there anything that you felt that he shouldn't have said, or rather, you felt that was like kind of on that brink where it's like, wow, I'm betting he got flack for that, because I didn't really feel like he did.
No, nothing flack worthy. For me, it was just I wanted to speak a little bit about Innuendo and just the way he delivers it, in this very earnest way. I guess when he's talking about, after the clash, if she drops a guard for 1 second, then I'll rape her like Nile Ranger.
Yeah, that was, again, he did have some really, really good bars. I think his best bars when he wasn't talking about...
It's the northeast. It's the northeast. He says you're allowed to hit birds.
He's I'll slap her. It's the northeast. You're allowed to hit birds. That, again, that is just such a I prefer more stuff like that from him, if I'm going to be honest, because that was genuinely the kind of controversy I think that he was trying to go for at the start. Because I mean, a lot of the bars about saying that, you know, you're fucking, I think he said something about pussy looking like a fucking boiled cabbage or something like that. I'm like, okay, it's light-hearted, but really it's like this whole sexist humor thing which works because it's battle rap. But again, like I said, when I go into a battle against somebody, if they're going to be just slightly offensive, the least they could do is be as offensive as possible if they're going to be targeting angles like that. So when he's talking about beating her up and slapping, I was like, well, if he's going to go down this angle, this will be actually quite a fun battle, if I'm going to be honest. If he's going to be going in about how he's going to kick the shit out of her and all that, like, because we know he's not going to.
Sure.
I think DK,
it's battle rap, yeah.
I genuinely think DK could probably beat him up, if I'm going to be honest. Like, Innuendo doesn't look like the type to fight back if DK was. I think he could probably fight, like he'd probably beat a couple of people up, but I think if DK was hitting him, he'd just like take it, if I'm going to be honest. Like, but watching the battle back, like I had to go back and watch his rounds again just to kind of get a better feel of. After you watch it, you kind of go back and just kind of see if you see it from a different angle, having seen the end, but. Yeah, I think when he was talking about the whole, you know, attack her, beat her up and slap her, and then put that light-hearted thing about how it's the Northeast, you're hit girls. I think, I mean, that worked. I think that worked better, but just the whole going in on just the fact that she's a bird and that he might want to shag her at some point, he's going to jizz in her eye, and you're like,
you can see a vagina from space. And,
I mean, you're like, these are jokes, but there's, I mean,
always got H on the mind like Rimmer.
Yeah. Again, it's a good bar, but again, it's not.
Nothing to do with DK.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's just a great bar, and he throws quite a few in there. But I think like 80% of the whole battle from his side was just trying to be as offensive as possible. I'm guessing with the whole your pussy looks like boiled cabbage, blah blah blah, and I think he would have done better going in on the angles that a lot of guys just tend to not do. I guess in the whole thing with kind of like Ron, what you said, with you can say some things to Adrian, but you can't say this to Blackburn. But there's a lot of things people say in a battle rap, but they're afraid to say to a girl battle rapper. And you're like, why wouldn't you say that to them? You're willing to kill a guy. How's that any less harsh than saying that you're going to kill a woman? Like, let's be honest, from a battle rap point of view, murder is pretty bad. Like, as far as I've heard, you can get arrested for that shit. Like, but in a battle rap, like in a battle rap, anything goes. But a lot of people are afraid to say that sort of stuff because it just makes them look like a pussy. Well, I mean, you're in a battle rap. You're not going to do it anyway. Just say what you're going to say anyway. But I think his approach was all right. It worked for what it was trying to do, but not for the controversy that it was trying to get. But if he had done more violence against women kind of bars, or put women in their place kind of bars in the kitchen, if he had touched upon subjects like that, like how, men earn more because they're just better in general, just really, really controversial topics, because then that would have been a battle that would have aged really well. It would be like a battle that people would bring up, like, this sort of post-modern feminism sort of age that we live in. That would be a good thing to quote. Stuff like that in a battle like that would have been fucking brilliant in this day and age, where you like bring that sort of stuff up, and then who knows, Innuendo might have got like a big massive boost in his like in his popularity, just like from the cult following that he gets from the type of battle that he did with like a character like DK, where he's going in about the wage gap and shit like that. I would happily fucking like definitely give him, he'd definitely get certified status for me if he had done something like that. I still think he won the battle, but he just wasn't.
DK's fine here. She also schemes long form in the first. She's a Beatles scheme. Talking about Innuendo's girl's pussy looking like Paul McCartney's face.
I see. The thing is, again, I didn't like that whole scheme. No. I like what she was trying to do.
I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying it's
from the nastiness point of view, I think the creativity was there, definitely. What I mean is that I'm not enjoying this whole. She knows going into the battle that he's going to talk about most of the time just fucking, your pussy looks like this, and I'm going to have sex with you, I'm going to rape you. And he mentions that she's come out as a lesbian, so I'm guessing she's into girls as well. So her going in on the whole pussy angle was quite a good way to sort of disarm the whole thing. Like, she can make the jokes too, but again, she wasn't being as harsh as I feel that she could have been. And it's like there's a lot of holding back in battle rap, and I think this battle kind of outlines what that is, what this sort of imaginary line is that people seem to be. Probably, the thing is, what I'm trying to say is that it doesn't age well, and if it's just an angle or a barrage of, like, I'm going to say sycopedonese for the sake of it, because it's easy to say stuff about it, it's a case of like, okay, you crossed the line, but it's only because the line was there. I'd like them to cross the line because there's something on the other side that they're trying to get to. So, like, don't just cross the line because it's there. Just actually do something creative with it, and I think this battle's a kind of good way to sort of showcase that there is a line, and Innuendo could have clearly crossed it at any point, but he doesn't seem to. And then on the reverse side, DK kind of knew what he was going to come with, and again, I think on some level she might have known that he's definitely not going to say stuff that he's not going to say stuff that's harsh, so I won't say stuff that harsh because there's no need for me to do it. But I like that whole scheme. That whole Beatles scheme was actually quite. I liked it. It was. I didn't think it was as. I didn't like the whole. It led up to this whole. Yeah, like you're saying, like your girlfriend's pussy looks like this. I'm like, you could have done something better with that.
No, definitely, yeah.
You could have definitely led up to a better sort of angle to take, and then link the whole Beatles thing into it. But I suppose if you want to go down that route, if that's the type of battle you are, so be it. But from a sort of nastiness and harshness point of view, there's a lot of pulling of punches in battle rap when it's a guy versus a girl, and I want to see more or less just like Ike and Enigma. I want to see that people doing that kind of stuff in a battle, just really, if you're going to cross the line, let's see how far you can go before somebody tells you need to stop. And this battle, well, I think it's still a good little classic battle between these two, because DK was quite good. I like that. I think Innuendo edged it in the end, but from the sort of controversial points of view, there's a lot more that could have been said, as I'll say. So
yeah. And we'll close up just before we do a few, quick-fire vignettes of offensive shit with the final guy, a guy we had to talk about, a guy who battled Mr. Fab, and I think he talked about putting used condoms in his daughter's mouth and shit like that, and a guy who has essentially heinous shit. It's Arsenal.
Yes, Arsenal is. I think Arsenal has fucking balls as well. Like, he's up there with Zayn in terms of he will literally say anything because he knows it will get a reaction. He's deliberately writing the worst things that he can think of. He's not doing what Senza does. Senza does this whole. I'll be as creative as possible. I mean, maybe back then he did it way back, but now he's trying to be really, really direct and creative with it. Whereas Arsenal was just I will fuck your dead baby. It's just fucked up for the sake of fucked up, kind of not like what Tink does. Tink is just that horrorcore, it's just that absurd level of what I'll do. This is Arsenal just saying, I will come at your house, I will piss on your fucking face and all that. Your daughter will be sleeping, I'll pistol whip her and all that. It's Arsenal was very, very, very. What am I going to say? He's very, very effective. At just saying the nastiest thing in the moment. Sometimes it comes out the blue as well. He'll be in the middle of saying something about pulling guns and doing drive-bys, and he'll say, they'll just come out with it I'll fuck your grandmother on her deathbed, and it's just this fucking just out the blue. And Arsenal again is one of those guys where I'm he could probably get away with saying anything. I think he had some trouble with some of the stuff that Suge had said, and I think he was up against Calico, and people in the crowd got quite angsty about it because he brought up Suge in a battle when he said he didn't. But again, he still played it off. He has some fucking balls, to go into another man's fucking. Because I'm pretty sure that was a Calico friendly crowd, a very, very. So he's willing to say that the kind of stuff that he does against a very hostile crowd is definitely something to be commemorated. Whether he's the best battler in the world or not, watching his battle versus Hollow was kind of. It was a bit of a chore, I won't lie. It was a bit of a chore. But I give him props where it's due, because he's against Shotty. He brought up that whole thing where he goes, if you were a real G, I shouldn't be able to say another word after this. But again, bring up the whole dead uncle stuff. Well, it works for the type of person Arsenal is. I don't really think it's all that creative an angle if you can't really do something with it. But for what Arsenal, the type of battler that Arsenal is, it works so well for him, because he is genuinely there to just be he's kind of like a Frankie Boyle kind of character in battle rap, where it's just I can get away with saying this, and if I don't, it doesn't matter. I'm going to say it anyway because I'm on stage. It's my battle. I'm the guy that I'm going up against should expect this. If not, but I've heard that off stage or whatnot, Arsenal's actually a very, very respectful guy, as far as I'm told. People have asked him not to say certain things in battles, and he's actually agreed to it. Okay. I think, did he go up against Goods, I think, at some point, and Goods had asked him not to mention anything about his daughter, and Arsenal just agreed outright. I think it was Goods or somebody else. So I think Arsenal again plays up the character quite well. So again, on his level, he's aware of what he's doing. This is not his persona. He has created this one, and he knows exactly what he's doing. He plays it quite well. So I think Arsenal was one of the GOATs just because of that. He might not be the best at the moment. He might not have the best material, but for the controversial stuff, you can look to him, guys like Caustic and Senza, and not be disappointed with what they're coming out with, I think.
Yeah, and shout out to Arsenal as well. The guy, the fake, retirement, and now he's came back, storming, doing more and more out of nowhere. I think it was about a month ago.
I think, again, he's one of those guys that just gets away with doing whatever. I think he'll say, when one day he feels like retiring, he'll say, I'm retiring. Next day he comes back and he'll get people saying, yo, I thought you said you were retiring. He doesn't give a shit. He just gives a fuck, man. He's making money. I don't think he even gives a shit. People pointing out the fact that he's supposedly retired. He's battling. He's making money off it. He's got a league to run, and he's doing what he's doing what he wants, which is just like writing the way he wants and spitting the way he wants. I've heard some of his music as well. I think he made a track with oh god, I can't remember their names. But he made quite a good track with these guys that roll with oh god, I'm not gonna get their names, so I'm just gonna leave it out. But yeah, his music is quite good. I actually like his music as well. So it's not like it's wasted talent in battle rap. He's actually doing good with music as well. So if he's ever on a track, if you ever want to hear look up an Arsenal track, he knows how to spit. So, but yeah, battle rap wise, Arsenal's probably at the tipping point of just saying just the nastiest shit for the sake of being nasty. I'm sure there's more people that we missed out. There's also like Yunnan and Fresco's third round for Roan, which I really like as well. Just saying some of that. This is your life and this is shit that you don't want people to know, but I'm still going to bring it up kind of deal. Yunnan is again one of those guys that I don't resonate very well with his stuff, but I take massive respect for what he does.
Yeah. I mean, Yunnan versus Pedro probably has, in my eyes, the most offensive line in the history of battle rap, where basically taking Pedro's mother to a dead husband's grave and forcing her at night point to shit on her husband's grave.
Yeah, that was it. It was like saying that he was gonna, you'll fuck it. I'm not gonna take that. I'll take your grandmother when she's visiting your mother when she's visiting her husband's grave and raped her in the graveyard.
Oh right, yeah.
Ooh, you're like, ooh, this is going somewhere now, because he just comes out the blue with it. Like after all that, he just comes out the blue with it, and then he goes on. He goes, I'll force your mother at knife point to shit on her husband's grave, and I'm like, ow, that was that stung deep, I'm sure. But again, it's battle rap, and it's because of the effectiveness of bars like that which make people want to tune in, because you're like, wow, people are willing to get away with saying shit like that. What else can they, get away with? I think in some level, if we were to say that there is a line that people shouldn't cross, it kind of stifles a bit of creativity, because people get worried about their content overall. Because like they'll get some people who just don't want to say anything harsh because they're worried about the backlash. Like they'll say, "Oh, I've got this line about this guy's, fucking broken down car, but I don't want to say it because it's it's like, come on, man. It's like if you want to say it, I think you should get away with being able to say it. If you thought of it, you wrote it down, you read it back, and you liked it, go into a battle, say it. If you like Fozzy versus Fozzy said the N-bomb in battle rap, and people, I'm not saying people allowed it, people just let it go for that moment, because you know what, it's a battle rap, we'll deal with it later. Right now, let these guys spit. We'll fucking, you've seen Hulk's face, you've seen Boski's face. I've only seen that one clip. Again, I'm not seeing the whole battle. I've only seen the one clip where he says it and everybody's reaction to it. I'll have to get round to watching the entire battle, but watching that scene and watching people's reaction to it and his own reaction to saying it, it's just like, well, it shouldn't have happened, but it happened. So I think people should just kind of, I'm not saying let it slide. That definitely not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that when shit like that happens in a battle, let the battle commence. Let people finish the recording. Let us get some footage and then deal with it later. People that are willing to throw punches in battle rap, wait, take it outside. Do it outside.
Yeah.
Stop punching people in the middle of rounds. We lost a great battle between like Gun Titles and NWX because of that. We had the Math Hoffa versus Disaster just because a punch was thrown, and that's it. You've lost that footage. You've lost those rounds that you've written, the impact that could have had. So just let the rounds happen is what I'm saying. As controversial as it may seem, the angrier that you may get because of what people are bringing up topic wise. Zayn talking about your dad being dead for years and just getting squared up to him. I'm like, bro, you've just wasted a lot of the momentum you're going to have going into your first round just because you did that. I think that there's definitely room for more controversy in battle rap. I'm not saying like controversy behind the scenes. I'm just saying in a battle rap and an actual one-on-one, there's definitely room for more. And I think that people shouldn't be afraid to explore that a little bit more, and don't be worried about hurting people's feelings. A lot of people that are worried that they're going to be pissing somebody off that they don't know. It's like, come on, man. If you're going to battle me, which a lot of people probably end up doing, if you're going to end up battling me, just say it as harsh as you can think of it. I probably would have thought of it worse. So fucking just hit out with it. I'm just saying, fucking do it.
Yeah. Well, as you said, there's so many people that we've missed off, so please comment down below. Let us know any that you think of. Maybe we'll do a future episode. This has been really good going through this sort of stuff, and hopefully there's some battles that maybe you guys haven't watched. And there's loads of videos online as well collecting this sort of stuff. So if you guys Google most disliked battle rap, you'll get the OTBVA, expensive hate video there, which is a crazy collection of a lot of moments we've sort of touched upon. Just want to run these through quickly, Acre, a few that caught my eye. The Nameless one, where I think his opponent, it doesn't show who his opponent is, had been talking about his girlfriend a lot, and he basically says, see how funny it is when I dig up your mom's grave?
Yeah, and he goes, that I remember that line. I didn't remember who it was against either. I think I looked up again, just out of the blue, coming out with a bar like that, and just in the, I can understand why an opponent might react to something like that, where it's just like, wow, I did not expect that line to come, but let it ride. You're battle rapping. So again, I think with bars like that, where it is just sort of like a harsh statement for the sake of being harsh, as opposed to like, I thought of how creative I can be with being controversial. Again, it's to each of their own. I think just being harsh at the sake of harshness isn't the most effective way to do it, but I would say just let it ride either way. But I would say that was probably a pretty cruel turn. I'm going to say a twist of events. Just the way he just came out with it was just fucking. It just sounded like it was just a shocking moment in battle rap when I dig up your mum's grave. Like, ooh. Like, it might have been like his mum might have passed away like recently. That's probably what made it more impactful. But again, bars like that, for some people it hits so much harder than others, or some rooms it'll hit much harder than others. And it's weird because when you hear bars like that, you're just like, oh, okay, they're going down this route then. But the way he said it in that battle was just like, oh, that's a bit much. But like, again, I'm like, you let it ride. Again, this is one of the most controversial ones. I enjoy these kind of controversy battles because it sticks with you. It resonates quite well. Because when you go forward, it's like, yo, do you remember this bar from this one battle? It's so fucking cruel. And some people are actually into that sort of thing where they'll just watch a battle just to watch somebody just get completely annihilated. So seeing that was just fucking good. I mean, that whole compilation was fucking amazing.
Really worth watching. It's quite old, I think it's like 5 years old, but still, it lives on in the ages.
Who was it that said the bar? But he said that Arcane said that I raped my sister. He lied. He's just jealous that my sister's alive.
Low Pesci,
Oh my god. And it's like, that was so fucking good. Like, that was one of those bars where it was just like, it was harsh, but it was so well constructed. Even if it's not the most clever of bars, it was so impactful because of how he just led up to it. He goes, when he said when I raped my sister, he lied. He's just fucking jealous that my sister's alive, and it's just like, wow. He just not only just fucking, cut his entire angle short. He just, I'm pretty sure he pulled up some fucking wounds as well. I don't know what makes that bar much more have such a great impact. Where bars like, your dad's been dead for years.
You just can't avoid being offended by it, can you? Really? It's going to touch a nerve. Like,
it's definitely going to touch a nerve. But the thing that makes that bar so harsh is that caustic. Oh, not caustic, sorry, Arcane. I keep getting caustic and Arcane because of that whole that's a different controversy entirely for that. The whole thing that Arcane is that it seems like it was a whole rebuttal kind of deal, and it kind of just like, did Arcane kind of let that happen? The whole thing with the caustic and Jefferson Price is like Jefferson Price kind of opened the door on that a little bit more than it should have been opened. If Jefferson Price hadn't messaged him saying please don't say this and just let it ride, maybe even had some prepared rebuttals or something, that could have probably worked in Jefferson Price's favour a bit more. But this whole idea that Arcane has said something fucked up about raping sisters, and the fact that didn't make it the compilation is kind of weird. And I'm like, well, he's talking about him raping his sister. Don't you think that would be a controversial bar? But I think this just fucking completely deaded that angle. Just saying, when he said I raped my sister, he lied. He's just fucking jealous that my sister's alive, and the way he just growls it to the crowd, just fucking, oh wow! Like, I think they would have taken away a lot of steam from anything Arcane said after that, in regards to any family members whatsoever. Just saying something like that, like, fucking hell, man! Like, it's a whole thing. It's like too complete that game, and I think Low Pesci won that game. It was a whole like, if you're going to bring up my sister and the fact that I rape her, let's see how harsh I can be to you, because it just sounds like that was like reactionary. Like, he probably didn't have any bars about dead sisters at all, and he just decided, you know what, if you're going to bring up this shit, let's see how bad I can be, and he fucking did it better, I'm going to say, just because a raped sister versus a dead sister. It's a very, very controversial topic in itself, but Lopez won that fight. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I mean, so much to go through here that Sharon battling that guy at St. Matthew High, talking about, wishing you were the one that was in that car crash and died. Me and Sharon spoke about that. The mood shifts instantly as he delivers that line.
The thing is, though, watching that, but the guy that he's standing opposite, I don't think he was gonna. I think he definitely felt the shock of that bar, but I don't think he was the type of guy to actually swing. Maybe he was, but looking at that bar, it just looked like he was kind of just stunned in the moment, and the reaction of the crowd just took over, and he didn't know how to respond or didn't know how to go on from there. He was just standing there like, what the fuck? That was... Like, that probably hurt him. Like, I don't know the history of that car crash or whatever happened. I'm guessing there must have been something that happened at the high school or whatever, and there was a car crash, and some kids died, and fucking Sharon bringing it up was fucking, again, just like harsh as hell. And again, one of those bars that just make you go, right, the crowd was definitely reacting to that. There's a few people jumped up and tried to defend Sharon. Like, I'm actually happy that actually happened, because watching it back, it did not look like he was in a room full of friendly faces at all. A few people did jump up and just like, yo, back the fuck off, you know what I mean? Like, and that definitely needs to happen in battle rap a lot more. If things are getting like out of order, I think people need to stand up and say, yo, fuck, it's a battle rap, fucking calm down. If you've got an issue with it, fucking deal with it after. Don't ruin our footage. This is our league. You don't ruin our footage just because, if you don't like what you're hearing, wait till after the battle, bring up your points afterwards, air your concerns out over Facebook or Twitter, or speak to the guy afterwards, but don't fuck up for the battlers in the middle of the battle. The guy he was battling didn't fucking put up a fuss or anything.
No.
His face, which is again one of those strange things where like people just feel so fucking entitled to just jump in. Now I will mention this, I did have a battle that never got released because it was kind of trash. I wasn't feeling well during it, but I thought I was fine going into it, but it was a horrible battle I had, and the person I went up against had set a bar against me that was again on this level of harshness that we're talking about, where he's saying that I looked like I could be a suicide bomber, so he's going to give me some space. It was a whole multi leading up to it, and I liked that. But there's a guy in the fucking crowd that just shouted out, "Oh, that's out of order." And I want to shut up and let the guy spit. I enjoyed it. I'm not fucking offended. Go fucking be offended for me somewhere else. Let this guy spit. He obviously thought of this bar and he said it to me. He's got some fucking balls for that, not knowing how I'll react. I loved it. I thought he was going to go further than that. I thought there's definitely some more he can bring up. Definitely some nasty thing. But the fact that the crowd will get offended on your behalf is so fucking annoying. Get this fucking get this social justice warrior mentality out of your head. It's battle rap. There's no room for it here. There really is not. I do not want to go to a battle and have the crowd disrupt a fucking battle event because they don't like what a battler's saying when the fucking person he's battling, his opponent, is okay, standing there ready to go ahead. I mean, don't get me wrong, when a battler starts acting up, then it's time to fucking step in and stop the whole thing if it needs to. But when the crowd fucking does it, it's like, oh, come on, please. Just let the fucking battle commence, please. Just let us go. But yeah, and that one battle, Sharon looked a little taken aback by the whole reaction he was getting. Like, I don't think he would go back and change it. I don't think there would be any part of him that I don't think I've heard his battle rap resume. But did he say that he regretted that bar, or did he just say that the mood was just awful?
Yeah, he didn't say regretted it. The nature of battle rap is but it was obviously going to be quite incendiary, and it's still quite a classic, iconic clip. I love it. Like, I love seeing him so young and just seeing wherever the hell we are in Canada as it goes down. But this has been great, as I say, man. And I want to just say, everyone, please follow the show. Get in touch with me, battlerapresume@gmail.com. Patreon.com/battlerapresume if you want to support, you want to give back to the show. Everything, including episodes like this and anything else, goes on there first, weeks, months before. You can download it on your phone as well. If you subscribe to the second tier, you can get access and just download the episode straight there when they get released. But Acre, what about yourself, man? How do people get at you?
They can get me on Facebook and Twitter, I suppose. You can at me. I can't even remember what my fucking Twitter is anymore because I barely use it. But yeah, you can get me on Facebook. It's probably the easiest way if you want to instant message me, or is that what they call it nowadays? Again, I'm new to this whole Facebook thing. It's just fucking, the whole thing is just new to me. But if you want to Twitter me, my Twitter is at @Acre. If you want to put that through, it's just because if you're going to spell my name out, just do it with a lowercase a. I don't like the capital in it. Right. Facebook wouldn't let me do it, so I have to just stick with it that way. But yeah, if you want to get at me, it's at @Acre on Twitter and on Facebook, it's just Acre Spades, if you want to add me on there.
And everyone go watch you versus Jay Short, definitely, if you want an introduction. And there's lots of great battles out there. And, we'll do an episode in the future, maybe about a year or so, give you a few more big battles.
Let me get bodied by a couple of bigger names, as well. Jay Short, he just got the ball rolling for me, getting sort of kind of slaughtered early on. So I'm just waiting for. I think Bard probably got the first one, but moving on, I'll probably get some bigger names. He'll kill me a little bit better. So we'll catch up on that when I'm completely defeated and no longer want to be part of battle rap because it's not doing anything for me. The same old excuses. But yeah, we'll catch up, man.
Yeah, sounds good, bro. This has been great going through, and thank you to everyone for listening as well. Please subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Leave us a review on iTunes as well if you enjoy the show. But finally, Acre, thanks again.
Thanks, man. Take care.